welcome to another DeFi Raiders AMA. We're here with Madrid, Jumpman, and Nat from Arbitrum Exchange, a new, I believe it's a pancake swap fork coming up on Arbitrum from the team behind Vertec and some other projects that I know our listeners are very familiar with. We're thrilled to have you all here and excited to learn more about the new project. So with that, Madrid, if you'd start us off with a brief introduction about yourself and your background and how you got into DeFi and so forth, and then hand it off and go around the team that way.
Yeah. I'm Madrid. Shane is my real name. Been in DeFi for a couple years now and really got my feet wet. Was real big into the Wall Street bets fiasco or trend back in the day, and that was kind of my big introduction into the DeFi world and getting out of traditional stock market trading and trading crypto just on CXs and stuff like that. Since then, I've run a bunch of projects, never ran off or abandoned anything, and have stuck with the original projects that I've come in. You see a lot of teams that they make a project and then they just go and start something else and they leave the others behind. And I'm very proud to say that the first project I ever worked on is still being prioritized and given use cases, and it's something that I'm very proud that I've done. We just launched a successful balancer DEX on the Binance Smart Chain, which is a pretty complex. It's one of the most complex code bases and DEXs that you could build, and so we're really happy to do something simple on Arbitrum and give users something just simple to use. So that's my background, and I'm happy to have been able to bring along and team up with Jumpman, who is our lead front end developer on Vertec, and have him come in and join us on Arbitrum. So turn it over to you, Jump.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much. And my name's Jumpman Stevens, my real name, and live in North Carolina. I don't think terribly far from Madrid. I've never met him, but at some point I'm gonna have to go up there, and he's gonna have to come down here one way or the other. But really excited to be here. Excited about this DEX. And like Madrid said, we just spent a lot of time on Vertec on Balancer, which was a great experience. Honestly, just a really great from a technical perspective, like just learning a lot and being able to do and kind of be a part of a lot of really cool things. And excited about this opportunity, this DEX, because I feel like there's a market for it. Certainly on Arbitrum, there's a lot of like really exciting stuff happening on Arbitrum. And I've been saying, and like I guess our whole team has been saying, like just thinking back, like I've been thinking back anyway for like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, back when some of this stuff was like first popping up, and like the fun of DeFi originally, and like kind of wanting to harken back to that in a way, just to have something that is easy to understand, it's easy to use, it's fun to interact with, like you feel good being a part of it, like just like all of us can remember our first, like whatever your first DeFi project was that you invested in, and how fun it was to like go check it out and harvest your coins in the morning. Like there's something to that, and I think that there's definitely a need for that on Arbitrum, and we're going to bring, I think, a lot of cool things that are not on that network yet. I think we'll incorporate a lot of that stuff into the DEX, but just really excited about it and pumped about it. And even though I have to work with Madrid, I guess other than that, I'm really excited.
Frack just popped in as well. If you want to bring him up, Fractality.
Awesome. Just got him up. So yeah, Frack or Nat, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves, please do so, and welcome to the stage.
Sure, I'll go ahead. Hey guys, I'm Fractality. My real name is Kevin. I'm happy to be here, be part of the team. I've been personally a part of quite a few DEX exchanges. I come from as well, kind of like Madrid. The last couple of years, I was primarily a stock type of person where I would do all my trades on stocks, but slowly moved over to the crypto marketplace, and I found DEXs, and I've personally been doing a lot of programming over the last 10 years, and I got into Solidity-based programming and blockchain-based programming. But, it's sad to say, I feel like a lot of us have had to go through experiences, where we've had hackers, or we've had, developers who rug the community and stuff like that. And so, you know, personally for the last month, I was trying to get my own decks up. And so, it was very funny to happen to come across Madrid and Jumpman and to be able to team up with them because, we really all have the same kind of idea here where we want to bring a DEX exchange that is secure, transparent. Nobody has to, worry about getting rugged or anything like that, where we can all trust in one another. And not only that, we really want to see our community thrive. We want to see the platform thrive. We want to see, the entire blockchain thrive. So, that's one of the reasons we're trying to give back all of the fees that our platform makes as well to our users. And we think we could make a big change in the blockchain, Arbitrum in general, but, hopefully the entire ecosystem. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. I'm happy to be a part of the team. I look forward to working with everybody here and talking to you guys through our Discord or our Telegram.
Awesome. Thanks, Fractality. And how about you, Nat?
I am Natasha, but I go by Lady Boss Nat. Been in the space for about 2 years. I've worked with many different projects, DEXs, and so forth. I just recently got to join the team yesterday. I'm super excited. I've known all of them in this space since I've gotten in here. A great team, so I'm super excited to work with them because I've worked with many teams, and it's just I like to work with people that are out here building and want to make a change, and I really am excited that they're doing something that's get that fun back in DeFi that we all miss so much. And it's super unfortunate, we've all had to deal with rugs and so forth. And I know that here with this team, they've been around, they've done a lot of different work with different projects and so forth. So I know that they're here to stick around. So those are the type of people that I like to team up with. So I'm super excited to join their team. I just joined yesterday. Pretty known out here in the space. And I do a lot of work in Discords. I do a lot of work. I've been doing a lot of Twitter space things on Twitter. I work with a couple different teams as well. So I'm super excited for sure to start working with them over here on Arbitrum. I'm excited for it for sure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And likewise, I've seen you around a number of projects that I either am in or have been in, and so it's a pleasure to meet. So good. So I would love for one of you, probably perhaps Madrid, although again, feel free anybody to answer, to just kind of tell us the origin story here. Why this project? Why now? What inspired you all to get together?
Yeah. So a bunch of us were, specifically myself and Fractality, and we were invested in another DEX that unfortunately rugged on Arbitrum. Seemed to have a lot of potential and had some nice features. And they rugged. And at the end of the day, we got to looking around and we realized, because we come from BSC, we come from Phantom, we come from AVAX. That's where most of us all, originate from. None of us originated from Arbitrum, because that came after all the other ones, right? And so we got to looking around and we see that there isn't a single notable team or even person, not even one notable person that you can say, hey, I've seen that guy before on any of these projects on Arbitrum. Not a single one. Every single team has, new Discords. They just made their account 2 weeks ago. And, that's kind of that's really interesting to me. That you've got, these people that, there's projects with $150 million in there, and they've never spoken on an AMA. Nobody's heard their voice. And so to me, that there's a reason that there's trying to keep a sense of accountability away, right? Like, because if things hit the fan, you can just start a new Discord and move on, right? Obviously, we kind of saw a opportunity to where we could give Arbitrum the most secure, safe, well-known team and project and ecosystem possible. So with this, all three of us, there are cases where, only one team member, and that was the problem with that Dex, is only one team member was KYC'd, and the developer that actually rugged it was not KYC'd, and, there was no accountability all the way around. So every core member has already gone through the KYC verification certification. All three of us have doxed to each other and given each other copies of our driver's licenses. And we also, there's a community member who is also an investor that practices law in New York, who we also, we thought like, hey, we don't have anything to worry about, so let's also dox and give this attorney our information. So we also doxed and have added, his name's JC, and added him to our multi-sig, gave him copies of our licenses, and have essentially put together the most accountable, responsible team where there cannot be something that just goes wrong. And we're really proud of that, and we think that the Arbitrum space, specifically because there is so much money that is trying to go there, and they don't really know where to go, they're just going anywhere, and they don't have the experience of being able to, one, identify rugs, because there's a lot of them in there that have never, they didn't go through the rug days of BSC, they didn't go through the rug days of Phantom, so they don't know what to look for, and so we want to give those investors a safe haven and a safe place to, if you're coming into Arbitrum and you don't know where to go, this is the safest place that you could put your money. And that's basically what our goal and our drive is. And on top of that is to bring something really cool and really fun. So that was the initiator, the fire that got lit for us, because we saw just so many rugs happening over and over and over again, and it's because people they don't have anywhere else to go. So we're really proud that we're able to bring that to Arbitrum.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. That's a great story. Lady Boss Nat, please go ahead.
I forgot to add that I am fully doxed out here as well. I doxed from the moment I came in the space, not knowing that I was doxing. I didn't know that people didn't put their pictures up or anything, which I don't have a problem with that, because again, at the end of the day, I don't have anything to hide, as well as the team. So I am fully doxed out here. I live in Michigan. Everybody knows that. Everyone in the space knows me by my name. Even though I go by Lady Boss Nat, mostly everybody knows I'm Natasha, and I have doxed with I have fully doxed, and I've doxed with multiple businesses, communities, people, et cetera, et cetera. So I just meant to add that part in there when I was letting you guys know about myself. I am fully doxed out here. Again, I don't have anything to hide, so I am a fully blown dox out here. Let everybody knows I'm in Michigan and all that and so forth.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for adding that. And yeah, that is just a great story, and a very cool role to play. That I didn't realize, but as you pointed out, think of anybody that I know on any of those teams. So now tell us, what's the technology of the DEX, and and that kind of stuff.
So we are really, really, really excited and proud to introduce two features that are not that have not been done. There has not been another DEX ever created that took this route. So we are taking 100% of the swap fees. So every dollar that is taken in swap fees is actually converted into blue chips. Initially, we're going to start with 3 pools, which would be USDC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. And you're able to stake the native DEX token to earn those blue chips. So it's really giving the DEX a reason, and I think that that's a problem with other traditional DEXs. There's no reason to buy the token unless, in Balancer, you're buying the token because you want to gain voting power. And Solidity Forks, Solidly Forks, you're doing the same thing. But there is no real, like, I'm going to buy this token and I'm going to stake it to earn Bitcoin. Like, it's usually some other project token that you're earning and things like that. So, and we're going to have that feature at launch so that when people farm, when they come and provide liquidity, so that we can have trading back and forth, there's going to be somewhere for them to immediately put that DEX token to earn real yield and earn blue chips, which we think is going to truly create this self-sustaining model, because you're not just giving out a token as a farming token. That token is used to get you Bitcoin. Right, that's used to get you Ethereum. It's not something that you're just farming to sell, because you could just sell it, but why would you if you could go earn $100 in Bitcoin every day, right? Which I think that that's something that I know for a fact that nobody else has ever taken all of the swap fees from the exchange and directed it in that type of manner. And so that's one of the greatest novel aspects that we're so excited to introduce. The second would be internal arbitrage. So traditionally, when you have everybody, well, not everybody, but most people here should know what arbitrage is. But that's where you have, a token that's paired with USDC and you have a token that's paired with ETH. There's usually people that run arb bots and they suck out a lot of liquidity, right? You need arbitrage to keep prices balanced, but in the same breath, you don't have to give that money away to somebody that's just running a bot somewhere and getting rich off of your platform and sucking out liquidity. So we actually are baking into our router internal arbitrage that is going to balance the pools with that any pools that share a token. And then we're also going to be able to roll those funds into those blue chip stakers as well. So you're going to see possibly, usually in a DEX, the most lucrative option or the highest rewarding on the platform is the native token farming itself. We think that we are actually creating an ecosystem where the most lucrative thing you could do is just buy the DEX token and stake it to earn Bitcoin. And so those are probably the two greatest things that we've added to this. We wanted to keep it simple by using, the pancake swap. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. It's a very, very great code base, very easy to use. But there are flaws, and we think that we have found the solution that traditionally hasn't been done before, and that's just making the DEX completely decentralized. So by having all of the swap fees go right back to the stakers, you essentially have the most decentralized exchange that you could possibly have, because you don't just have a team getting rich off of swaps. No, we're not getting any of that money. That's all going to go back to the DEX token stakers, and we think that that's going to provide an incredible use case and utility, and we think that it's going to do extremely, extremely well.
That's fascinating. That's a really interesting approach. I particularly love the taking advantage of of arbitrage opportunities on your own pools. Is obviously a significant potential source of real income.
Yeah, absolutely. We 100% agree. And just watching some arb bots that suck out $50,000 worth of liquidity, in days. And even in just a day, that's insane. Unfortunately, DEXs that have launched in the past, they're unable to go back and build that into the routers themselves, because you just can't go back at that point. It's already there. So we have a really, really great opportunity to do that here. And like you said, it is a huge source of revenue. And so just being able to take that revenue and then you combine that with the 100% of swap fees plus the insane amount of revenue that will generate with the internal arbitrage. That's why I'm confident that, like, I think the APRs and the reward rate for uh, just the native staking the native token to earn blue chips is going to be incredible.
So then I think next question, how are you guys approaching security? And and I think here you have a fairly unique advantage in having three developers, not one. But just love to hear how you're, I assume that the vaults and the the code to convert fees into USDC and BTC and ETH are things that are already out in the wild and well tested. But anyway, just if you free form a little bit about security, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're using, obviously we started with just the Pancake Swap code base that's been audited 100 times over. And we are also launching with our audits already completed. We've seen that as a huge, huge problem. And the reason why these rugs were getting away with it is because they would tweet that we've started our audit's on the way, and then they'd rug before the audit was completed. So we're going to have that audit in place for users prior to the launch, and we've even paid to have our a pre-sale contract, one simple pre-sale contract. We've even paid to have audited. We definitely want our users to think of us as the most secure, safe place to put their money. So we're having thorough audits done well before launch. You can expect those to be out a little later this week. Launch will be on Monday. So we're looking to have our audits back by Thursday or Friday.
Even a little bit of lag time in between there.
Absolutely. We're not playing any games with this, buddy.
No, that's great. I mean, great plan. I think great reason for existing. I was questioning in chat earlier. Do we need another Dex on ARB? But you got me.
I'm glad I got you. There's definitely a need for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, this is very, very different. So how are you going to approach decentralization and governance? Will people be able to create pools in a permissionless way, and how will how do you plan going forward to handle emission adjustments and adding emissions to new pools and so forth?
So we have not integrated anything to where obviously anybody is able to create their own LP, which would receive swap fees naturally. But as far as receiving emissions from the DEX itself, we're going to still, although the swap fees and the system itself is decentralized, we still are vetting and being selective on the partners that we bring in and reward their liquidity provision with our token. I think that the biggest thing for us is we have something that other people are going to want, and that's going to be the ARX token that you can stake for blue chips. We're not, obviously, as a DEX, you want more and more liquidity, you want higher TVL and things of that nature. But we don't feel as if we need to just freely give away what is valuable, right? There's value in scarcity. And so the less that token is just freely given, the more value that it holds. So we do have one large partner that's going to come on board with us, Up Finance. We've already, agreed and shook hands with them. They are a great project. They're on BSC, just recently moved over to Arbitrum. And then we plan on doing governance via, snapshots. We have not implemented a V voting system. We wanted to keep it simple. We didn't want to overcomplicate it. But as far as, how the protocol would be governed, we're still going to, as a core team, we're still going to make decisions on what would benefit the DEX itself. right? There needs to be some sort of leadership to direct uh, what direction things need to go. That be used as the governing body, so to speak, to where if we want to add new pools, add or change the emission schedule, um, we would be able to put something like that up for a vote. And obviously, we would want to have the people that are actually invested being that governing body, not just like putting a vote up on Discord. So that would take a little bit more development. That's not something that we plan on having right away, but that's something that we are very, very on board and supportive of. And the investors having a voice in their platform. We want our investors to feel that they own it, because essentially they do, right? Like you as a owner of the token, you get all of the swap fees. You provide liquidity, you get the DEX token, and so it's a really beautiful symbiotic circle that's created. So as an investor, you basically own the DEX, and we want those investors to also have a say and a voice in the direction that the DEX would go. So that's something that we definitely will integrate into the ecosystem for sure.
Yeah, you can't start out with the full community governance as much as we might like to try.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that you gotta let dad, get you across the bridge, and then he'll let you take off, and you can vote for however you want, but let dad get you across the bridge first.
Yeah, exactly. So I know your pre-sale is underway. So would you tell us a little bit about tell us about, in the context of the pre-sale, tokenomics and emission schedule, briefly, and then how can people invest?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're currently in our pre-sale. What we wanted, and we kind of went for a less traditional pre-sale. A lot of times you see pre-sales, it's a very low cap, and you have users typically FOMO in. It sells out really, really fast, and then after launch, you have a huge spike in the price, because there was such a small number of tokens that were um, given out, so the liquidity was really low. So we went with a 500,000 token pre-sale, uh, fully knowing that it wasn't going to sell out, in a couple hours, right? And we scheduled it for a week. Now, the logic behind that is we would rather, and that's that our whole um, motto or mantra for Arbdex is we want people to feel safe. So I would rather start with the largest amount of liquidity possible, so that the price is hard to move. I do not want the DEX token to 20x over the first 24 hours. Somebody buy the top, and then they're holding a bag all the way down to back to what the pre-sale price was. Right? That's not fair. That is a team that, obviously they're selling on investors and things like that. I don't want there to be a huge amount of volatility when the pre-sale is over and the emissions go live. All right, so we've done a very large cap so that users can get in, not feel like they had to FOMO in because they're like, oh my God, there's only 100,000 tokens, so I got to hurry up and buy. We didn't want any type of feeling of urgency in that standpoint. And having such a large cap gives us the ability, like I said, to have a very stable foundation right out of the get go. Right, like I would prefer, I mean, it would be beautiful if it did this, but I can't control. If somebody wants to ape in $10 million, I can't keep that from spiking. Right, I can't keep that from going, 50x. But what we can do is make sure that there is enough tokens that people could participate in the pre-sale, not feel like they had to make a split, hasty decision without reading documentation, without seeing audits, and giving the DEX the ability to have a very deep liquidity foundation when it does go live, so that you have a more stable price. I want somebody to be able to buy our token day two and not feel like they bought the top and, now they've got to wait until they can recover. I would rather somebody be able to buy our token day 2, 3, 4, 5 after emissions, and it's relatively the same price. If not, obviously I'd be happy with some increase, but realistically, you want things to be stable, and allow natural value propositions to increase the value of the token over time, not the price goes up because of people just panicking, feeling like they got to hurry up and get in. I want it to be a natural increase of value because of the use case and the product that we've been putting out. So that's the setup of the pre-sale. The first 250,000 tokens are going at 90 cents. And then the second 250,000 tokens are going at 95 cents. The launch price is $1. So we're not giving a huge discount for the pre-sale. Again, this is not meant to be a quick 10x flip for somebody. Unfortunately, in order for somebody to get something like that, that means somebody else is holding a bag. And that is not something that I can go to sleep dealing with. And I have a lot of commitment to the people that are in our communities. I have myself invested in pump and dump coins. And in no way, shape, or form do we want to, one, give the ability for that to happen, and two, be naive and think that we could not have done something to prevent that. So the large cap will do that. The large amount of liquidity will take care of that. And the fact that it's a week-long pre-sale, people are able to make informed decisions and not feel like they have to rush before they're able to invest in Arbitrum Exchange.
Makes a lot of sense, and I think is definitely an improvement over some that we've seen recently. And I think about probably Equalizer is a good model of trying to grow, kind of growing price along with actual revenue a little better than some. So that's very cool. And I understand there was a small private sale, but based on the amount of liquidity, it doesn't seem like it would be needle moving, even if the private sale parties did dump.
Yes, correct. And we did a small seed. We did a $30,000 seed. Obviously, in order for you to put out something of quality, you need money up front. I personally was just rugged, so I did not have the money to pay for marketing, to pay admins and things of that nature. So we did a small seed raise of $30,000. All of that is being used for some initial team pay, to pay for KYCs for all members, to pay for their audits, and to do a very thorough, extensive marketing campaign. And that was only done at there were some that were at 80 cents. There was a few at 85 cents. And these are investors that we have been around for a long time. And so we didn't want there to be like 50 different people. We wanted it to be a select group of people that were investors. We didn't just like handpick our friends, but they were people of integrity that we did, do that seed round with. And we're very thankful for them. We're very thankful for that support. Because, they were investing in us before we even had, documentation up or a product. They just trusted in the team. And, it's good for them too, because they're, I know that they'll provide liquidity, but it gives them a little bit of sense of security as well. That they got in, but 20% discount is pretty good. And so, very happy about that. And we were very intentional in the fact that we only raised what we needed for the launch in that seed round. We didn't try to raise $100,000. You don't need $100,000 to market and KYC and audit. $30,000 was a very good number. We didn't feel like we needed $1 more. We didn't feel like we needed $1 less. That was a very humble and tactful figure that we calculated, and it's done very well. And so we're very thankful and proud of that, and we're very thankful for our seeds. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. It sounds like it'll be a mellow launch then for all involved.
That is the goal, my friend. That is the goal. Absolutely.
I know some of us are here primarily for the excitement, but hopefully not all of us.
The excitement will be that we all can invest, have fun, not be banging our heads against the wall because it's too complicated to understand, and we will all just be able to uh, make money, passive income. That's
I just wanted to add, I feel like uh, being able to make money in a safe, like fun environment in DeFi is really exciting right now to me after watching the garbage that I've seen, in crypto over the last year. To me, that's like, oh, a good safe project that you can invest in and feel good about. That's exciting. So I feel like that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, before we open it up to some questions from the audience, what's coming after launch for you guys? What's on the roadmap?
Yeah, so we're launching one of our biggest key features, the real yield stakers, with launch. Following that up, we will release our own native auto compounders, strategies that have been built, have been well tested, and are able to be implemented. In reality, the same thought process behind having the internal arbitrage baked into the router. Uh, Being able to provide your users, because some people, I am not a fan of auto compounders. I do not like them. I think that they cause constant sell pressure, but users like them, investors like them. Some people like to set it and forget it, and who am I to not give them a product that they want? And if I can give them a product that they want and keep fees in the ecosystem, no shade at Yield Wolf, they charge 3%. Well, over over time, 3% of their rewards every single time, that is a lot of money that's being given to where we as a development team could implement something like that in just a few days. Right, so we're gonna create and offer our own auto compounding vaults, with lower fees. All the fees would be given right back into the ecosystem itself, and that's basically what we want to do. So that's something that will definitely come out within the first couple weeks after launch. Because I know after we launch, the first thing that people are going to be asking, when compounding, when listed on Yield Wolf or Beefy or something like that. I've seen it. All of us have seen it over and over and over again, no matter what the project is. And so we're going to be really happy to be able to offer that to our investors. And although I'm not the biggest fan, I can see uh, what's the value proposition for us to just make it ourselves and keep that 3% in the ecosystem, and it not just be going to another compounding service, or the way I look at it, it's the same as not letting another Arbot just suck money out. We want to keep this the most profitable ecosystem possible, and you do that by cutting off on different things like letting an auto compounder service take 3% of your investors' rewards over and over and over and over and over again. So that'll come very quickly. Our mascot is it's apes in space, basically. That's one of our mottos, is embrace the ape, because we put together such a safe and secure platform. We feel like users can ape in and not get wrecked in the meantime. So embrace the ape is something that we're doing. And so we want to launch, obviously, a nice NFT collection, with some cute little monkeys or cute little apes, and they're little astronauts. But it's something that all of us growing up, that's something pretty recognizable to see monkeys in space. You had Soviets sending monkeys in space. We've all probably seen Planet of the Apes, and stuff like that. So it's really exciting. We're really excited with that little bit of narrative to be able to play on and have fun with. So we'll launch an NFT collection probably a couple weeks after the auto compounding vaults, and the list goes on and on. Constantly look into getting bigger name partners. We haven't talked about doing anything kind of cross chain or anything like that. But for the initial roadmap, we're going to do auto compounding, and then shortly after that, go ahead and release an NFT collection that could have some really nice benefits to the NFT owners.
And how has it been building a community on Arbitrum? Have have a lot of people from from existing communities on other chains come over, or have you found some Arbitrum natives?
It's really been a very beautiful combination. It's some very good friends, very good loyal supporters. Obviously, they support the things that I do, the things that Jump does, and they naturally came in and were ready to support Arbitrum Exchange. And there's also a lot of new friends that we've made. That were also part of unfortunately the RB swap fiasco, and they're able to come over and help support the deck. So it's really nice to really see all of my friends before I started this on Arbitrum in Arbitrum, and to see all of the new people and new friends that I've made on Arbitrum cohesive. I mean, it's just like night and day. How quickly everybody just kind of like clicked. So it's really, really nice. Because I wouldn't have as much fun without my the OGs that rock with me, and it's really nice to get some fresh blood and some new faces involved in the circles, and it's really, really nice.
Sounds like y'all are having fun, and yeah, we're excited to see the launch and what y'all have in store for us after. So before we open it up to questions, would anybody else like to comment or throw anything else out there? And then anybody in the audience, please raise your hand or tweet at us, or perhaps even track me down in our Discord if you have any questions.
I always feel bad at this part because I've done so many of these that I kind of like answer everybody's questions before we even get to the ask me anything part of it.
Yo, can you hear me?
Hey, Hot Sauce, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me up, man. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, it sounds like this team is working on a lot of things, and so I was just seeing how will maintaining and working on two projects and two communities be sustainable for you guys? And if so, if there's any synergies between the two projects in the future. That was basically it.
Yeah, so uh one of the great things are that Jumpman and I already work together on Vertex, so there's already a very synergistic relationship there. We flow very well. We know how each other works. We've got a newer Fractality. We haven't worked with Fractality before, but he's very, very intelligent. One of the most I would say go get it and go get it done type of guys, very well organized. So it's definitely a breath of fresh air to work with somebody that you have not worked with before, and them to also bring things that you genuinely like to see and somebody would work with. Now, as far as Vertex compared to Arbidex, Vertex and the ecosystem is up and running. It does not need as much initial mental attention as it did leading up to launch, and obviously after you launch you have it doesn't matter what project it is. There's never been a project that has ever launched that did not have a UI bug. Just want to announce that there will be some APR that might be showing wrong or something. It just always happens. It's just not possible. But all of the bugs and things like that have been worked out very well. A lot of the community members that we have are in both platforms. And we see the opportunity because Arbitrum is getting so much attention that in the future to possibly take Vertex, the native Vertex token, or even some of the protocols, and maybe have those be cross chain and possibly offer some yield for those on the DEX itself. Now, that being said, that's not something that would be done immediately. Initially, you can't put the cart before the horse. So our first and only goal is to create a very strong and solid foundation for ArbDex itself. This isn't meant to be anything other than a self-standing, self-sustaining ecosystem, but we definitely see the opportunity to kind of integrate the two down the road, and think that it would really do pretty well. Um, we one of the great things about some of the projects that are involved with Vertex and things like that, everything's hosted just on Vertex, so there's not other website management that's really needed to be done. Um, and so we've also taken the step of making sure we have a very deep team. We've taken the step of making sure we have multiple resources to pull on, people of different expertise, people from different backgrounds, people that are on at different times. All three of us are all on the East Coast, and including Nat, she is also, wait, God, Michigan.
They're East Coast time.
But yeah, so pretty much most of the main team members are East Coast, but we have some really great moderators, some really good business developers. Ayush, who also helped with Vertex, is working with us on ArbDex as well. So we really aren't, we really tried to make sure that we were not stretched thin, by making sure we had ample resources, we had ample people behind us that were ready to support, and help. So we just need to make sure that we put out a very good product, and the rest will take care of itself.
Well, that's a good answer. I have like another question that's my spicy hot sauce question. Are you ready? So, I mean, it's fork season. Everyone's, dropping new dexes and, not doing anything too out of the ordinary. So, like, what would you say to someone who thinks this is just like a cash grab? I mean, I know you guys have a trusted team. You guys have built in other places, but I mean, people are going to think that. So I'm just going to ask, what would you tell that person?
Well, if it were a cash grab, we would not be giving every single penny of the swap fees to the people that are staking. That would be the first thing that I would say. We did our little seed round. The team gets some vested allocation over a couple years, but I think just it speaks for itself. The ecosystem is centered around itself. And so, there's not like every penny of the swap fees goes to the stakers. So, that the cash grab thought process is pretty easily negated, I feel, in that sense.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, it just, if I think it, I assume someone else is thinking it too. But not everyone wants to get up on stage, so I'll do it.
Do you think it's a cash grab?
I don't think so. No, I mean, it seems like you guys are trying to have fun, and you know, that doesn't strike me as a rug or a cash grab by any means. But what do I know?
Well, I would say that you're an investor, and your opinions and what you see on the surface matters. And so if you can look at something on the surface, and not just the surface, but you can see the team behind it and see the integrity or the intentions behind somebody or what they're doing. Just like you said, if you can see it, somebody else can see it as well.
And that's why I always tell people to when you are investing into any project, company, business, anything of that nature, to always look at the people that are behind it. You're not just investing in the project, you're investing in the people that are behind it. So it's always good to look at what those people are doing, what they have done, and so forth. And that really helps as well.
Yeah, great point, and thanks so much for the spicy questions, Hot Sauce. Those were excellent. And I'll add to what Lady Boss Nat just said. It's also how do those teams and people handle adversity, and here we actually have some people who have handled adversity publicly. Well, thanks so much again to Madrid, to Jumpman, Fractality, and Lady Boss Nat for joining us.
I want to say I am sorry. I seen that Jumpman told me 35 minutes ago to hold my phone closer to my face.
I told him.
I just saw it. So I apologize if you guys couldn't hear me.
Funny.
Also, do you have iPhone by
No,
chance?
it's a Samsung. It's
Oh,
a Samsung.
I was gonna say because I was gonna on iPhone you have like that. You can put your mic on wide spectrum, and that really helps for people to hear you better. Or if you're playing music in the space or anything like that, it's always nice to put it on wide spectrum because people can hear you. I don't know so much when it comes to Androids or Samsungs and stuff. I'll have to look that up. But I know with iPhone you have that um, option to put on wide spectrum, and you can hear so much better when it comes to doing Twitter Spaces because sometimes the audio on here is terrible.
Yeah, it's because I talk with my hands even when there's nobody around. And so my phone was sitting on the console about a foot away, and I wasn't holding it. But it's said and done now. Hope you guys heard the good stuff is all I can say.
Awesome. And we looks like we have another taker for a question. Web3 Mac, welcome to the stage.
Well, it's nice being here. Madrid and the Lady Boss, the Validator, nice meeting of you. I really don't have a question though. I just wanted to say, go Abidex. Like, honestly, it's nice to meet everyone though. I see the projects moving forward, and basically, let me introduce myself first. My name is Mac. I'm working with Abidex, and it's been a great plan so far. And I just want to let everyone know that we have so much coming. I've been right in the audience since the beginning, so I just thought I could come up and just say a few things before I go back down.
Well, cool. Nice to meet you, Web3 Mac. Thanks for introducing yourself.
Yeah, he's one of our admins and moderators. He does a really good job. Helps us reach out to different influencers on Twitter for partnerships and stuff like that. And he's a diehard good supporter, and he does a really good job. So I'm very thankful to have Web3 Mac helping us out. Like I said, we really have. We're not trying to, and that's I would even go as far to say when somebody would even think of the thought of there being a cash. We've got too many people. We've tried to bring in as many people and as many different backgrounds as possible, and we want the entire thing to succeed. So we aren't trying to keep anything for ourselves. We want Arbitrum Exchange to be the greatest DEX on Arbitrum by a notable team, a KYC, fully KYC team, a completely U.S. based team. I love our foreign brothers. I have nothing but good and loving things to say about people from other countries. But people generally feel that if there is a problem, if there is money stolen or rugged, if it's anywhere else but the U.S., there's nothing that can be done. So we feel like it does give a sense of security that, every one of us, I'm from Virginia. Jump is North Carolina, Frax, Florida. We're all right here, and so there is none of that that worry that if we just feel like it just adds a sense of security.
Yeah, very cool. I'm hoping you guys will, inspire a whole new shitcoin season on our.
I hope we do too. I think that I think what we're bringing to the space is definitely needed. Something that is trustless, right? To where you don't have to worry, and I think that will give other builders confidence that they can go build. They can come to Arbitrum and they can build with, and I think that us being the pioneers or the first developers or developer team to actually take the leap and to go to Arbitrum, we hope that does inspire some of the other notable teams and other notable names to also do that. And I do think that there's going to be a large wave of that. I agree. I definitely think that if we can get away from somebody with a new Discord, it is when some people are new to Discord, but if you've made a new Discord and 2 weeks later you're creating a DEX, you were on Discord before, and so why felt the need to make a new Discord 2 weeks ago, right? So we do think that we're going to pioneer, and we hope that some of the other large names and notable teams go ahead and see the move that we're making, and they follow suit. And I think that after we have a successful launch and they see the success of ArbDex, that they will. Absolutely.
Cool. We're excited. I'm sure a lot of our community will be over there. So yeah, looking forward to it. So again, thanks so much, Lady Boss Nat, Madrid, Web3 Mac, Jumpman, Fractality for joining us. This has been Degenic for DeFi Raiders with the Arbitrum Exchange team. Their pre-sale is ongoing. Their launch is, I think, on Monday. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. Thanks to our audience for the lovely questions. And we'll see you again next time.